Welcome to the Dark Match Halloween Spooktacular, where we preview NXT Halloween Havoc. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm not bad. Not bad. Staying busy, trying to get I got a limited amount of time to get the house ready for baby number 2. So,
baby number Ocho. Not yet.
yeah.
Man.
If I'm using Chris Jericho math, it is baby Ocho.
Well, let's jump right into Halloween Havoc. Well, a quick note on the week. Hangman got a bad concussion. We wish him the best. Hopefully he recovers quickly, and hopefully it's not like an Adam Cole situation who's still just on the shelf practically indefinitely. It's been months at this point, so I'm hoping Adam Cole also gets better. Both Adams. But Hangman said he had a delicious panini the other day, so I think he's on a good route to recovery.
Yeah, I watched the bump this morning. Actually, it's just one of those fluke things. I mean, they were running at each other. Mox came in a little high, Hangman came in a little low, and he just took a bicep to the side of the head. It's not really anybody being a dangerous worker or anything. It's just one of those fluke things. So yeah, I do hope he gets better. That's got to feel like getting hit with, just basically a baseball bat, since he's coming at you full force with the arm.
Yeah. I do actually want to touch on one thing. What I think is a crazy thing in that Joey Janela is apparently promoting, is like everybody should watch Raw this week, and everybody in GCW should be prepared for it. So like what? Like, it's implying that like GCW is going to show up.
I mean, all I can think is that the Murder Death Kill gang finally got that contract, and he won't have to rob any more banks. So,
I mean, what if
I can't think of any other reason. Yeah.
What if this is the craziest? Like, somehow that Saudi prince found out about Nick Gage and is like, I like this guy. Like, but he actually thinks he does murder, death, kill, which is not the case. But like, maybe this is the whole thing is like, yeah, we want like get them over for Crown Jewel or something. I don't know. It seems real bizarre. But I don't know if I just hope if Nick Gage somehow shows up, I hope there's a pizza cutter. I hope he goes to pizza cutter somebody and it cuts to another Domino's commercial. I hope it just follows him everywhere.
Now, USA Network seems to show an awful lot of Papa John's commercials. So that's the kind of press we're used to for Papa John's. Really negative things. But yeah, I was trying to figure out what it could be. It's weird that he's telling people to watch Raw, because it's not like Joey Janela is going to show up. And if they were going to do some kind of crossover thing, you would think it would be NXT and not the main roster, just to kind of test the waters and see how it goes. Either that or Shane McMahon's going to show up and say that he bought GCW. It's his ECW invasion angle all over again. So, I mean, it's always possible, but seems a little unlikely.
Yeah. Well, if Nick Gage is on WWE television, that would be a sight to behold. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. If nothing else, what if it's just like Triple H is like, hey, Joey, just like create this noise that make it seem like someone GCW is going to show up on Raw, and then people watch and nothing happens. And they just troll everybody. So who knows?
Well, yeah, because I was trying to think too, who's left on their roster that could work a death match if it did have anything to do with Nick Gage and the Saudis and I couldn't think of anybody. I mean, the only guy that probably could have done it was Ambrose, and they let him go, and now he is wildly successful elsewhere. But I mean, they've cleaned up everybody that's come over to the point where I would almost be terrified to have them try and work one after an extended period of time.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Let's get to the Halloween Havoc.
Yay! Yay! Soundboards! Yay!
So first we got the host, wildly popular host from previous year, Shotzi Blackheart, or just Shotzi, I guess, but Blackheart, I think, is appropriate for this show. And Quincy Elliott. I'm not familiar with Quincy Elliott. Are you?
Is it bad that I'm disappointed that it's Shotzi and not Chucky again? I mean, the new season of Chucky just started. Yeah. So, I mean, it would have made sense. Plus, it's always fun for Chucky to taunt a Steiner, especially since this is probably where he's going to drop that belt. But it disappointed me a little bit that I wasn't going to get all the cheesy one-liners throughout this show. I'm not familiar with I didn't even realize the show was going to have hosts this time. So you're telling me something I didn't even get.
I thought from last year, Shotzi was great. So I think, or was it 2 years ago? I don't know. But either way, I thought Shotzi did a great job, and I really enjoyed it. She made it all a lot of fun. So I think
she was like injured or something, nursing an injury or something. That's why she wasn't on the card.
I think so, but I think that was an excellent use of her to bring her into it.
She had kind of an Elvira vibe.
Yeah. Let's get into the show. I don't know if this is going to be the actual order, but we got an ambulance match between Julius Creed and Damon Kemp. Now, I guess I'm told that the implosion of the diamond mine kind of started with an ambulance ride. Do you have any more context on that?
Yeah, Roderick Strong got jumped in the parking lot, and it turned out that it was Damon Kemp that did it. Because he felt like he was just in the shadow of the diamond mine. I get that it works with story. Two guys that are proficient technical wrestlers. This seems like a weird thing to do with them,
right?
Since the women's championship match doesn't have a stipulation, best I can remember. So it's a little weird to have two basically meat castles of human beings that are very good, just amateur wrestlers. Doing a gimmick match like an ambulance match, but I think they're either going to push Damon Kemp hard, or we're on the road to Creed Brothers getting those belts back. It's also weird that it's just one of the Creeds booked into a match, right? Because they tend to run as a pack. So I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna give the win to Damon Kemp, even though I think the other Creed brother will get involved. Or maybe Roddy comes back, and he's the difference maker here.
I think if Roddy came back, I think that would be fun. I don't think an ambulance match or some of those coffin matches, I don't think they're as like anticlimactic as an I Quit match like we discussed last week. But I do think it's still like kind of it's not the most fun match either. So of all the gimmick matches, it's just like, we got to just get them in the back and close the doors. It's kind of weird. And these guys could have done something, I think, a little bit more interesting, but like, I'm hoping there's a lot of other stuff kind of happening with either Roddy or the other Creed brother or something like that. I think that could be fun.
I mean, I would have been, what is that they did in NXT UK, where they there were 7 falls or something to the match.
Right.
King's Cup or something. Mm-hmm. I mean, they could have done like an amateur wrestling match in that kind of format, and that probably would have been pretty entertaining. It doesn't work for Halloween Havoc, I guess, but this match really doesn't necessarily work for Halloween Havoc either. So
I do wonder, so there's a rumor that WWE just next year is going to be moving away from a lot of the gimmick shows. But I do feel like Halloween Havoc is probably one of those ones that actually stick around, because I think people have a nostalgia for it and stuff like that. But I do wonder what kind of goes away between all those things.
Probably TLC, because you got too many people get hurt doing those. You're going to keep
That
money
maybe
in the bank, so that they'll have a ladder match every year on the card. So
I kind of feel like maybe one of the criticisms from Hell in a Cell has always been where it's like, oh well, this is on the calendar, let's ham fist some feud into the cell when it doesn't really deserve it. And if anything, Hell in a Cell should be like a thing that gets added to some shows, but it's not like a whole pay-per-view named after it.
I mean, I'd like to see an entire pay-per-view inside the Punjabi prison, but I don't ever get what I want. So
the one match type that everyone in the arena could barely see what was happening.
Yeah. The only pay-per-view that could justifiably be done from Thunderdome.
Yeah. So next we have Roseanne Perez versus Cora Jade in a Weapons Wild match, and this is one of those spin the wheel, make the deal matches. So I guess I'm assuming that the weapons that they can use are on the wheel, possibly, or just they could use whatever weapons, but maybe they're given certain weapons. I don't know.
Maybe I'm not entirely sure. It's weird that the wheel would be involved because I thought that the Weapons Wild was the gimmick for this one.
It's strange. I'm just saying on the match graphic, there's the spin the wheel, make the deal like thing on it. So who knows? There's no more context that I have of what the wheel is going to be used for, but yeah, I guess we'll see there. I think that it'll be the weapons. I'm leaning more towards Cora Jade, but I don't know.
I think that because they've tried like hell to push Cora Jade, and they've given her a heel turn, and she's doing great with it. I feel like Perez she may be the only face on the women's side of the NXT roster. I guess Indy Hartwell still technically is there, but they don't really use her terribly often.
No.
So I'm gonna say Perez gets this one. They need to find a way to get a face over to challenge whichever woman walks away with the belt, because they're, Alba Fire, Kaylee Ray, whatever you want to call her. She may be playing kind of the face, but that's only because Mandy Rose is like almost Roman level heel.
Right.
So it's they need to start building a top face, and she's like really nice, and like they share on their Instagram that after her matches, like her mom's backstage waiting on her and stuff like that. So they're doing they're laying the groundwork. I think it's time to let her start getting some big wins.
So like the Paul brothers don't have a sister or something that can challenge Mandy Rose as a face for the championship?
No, but I guarantee you if I spent like 15 seconds on TikTok, I could find the next likely women's challenger. And not for NXT. This would be somebody shoehorned onto the main roster to challenge Bianca and probably take her belt.
Yeah.
Is Jenna? It'll be Jenna Marbles. She's the first one I could think of that has enough followers that they would go for it.
Yeah. I think so. The NXT Women's Championship match we were just kind of talking about. You're right. There's no gimmick, but they're really like hyping up the dream match of nightmares, and like they're talking about how Alba Fire is so dangerous. So I think they're trying to be like, oh, well, like Alba Fire is like a weapon herself. I don't know. They're trying real hard. The copywriters.
The confusing thing here is that fire is built into the entirety of this thing. Why is this not an Inferno match? I mean, it's written itself. Like every promo, every video package they've done for her. If she's going to win the belt, this should be an Inferno match because she should be unbeatable inside the flames. So,
yeah,
I don't know, but.
Well, if we see all that weird clumpy stuff on her back, then maybe we know she's going through a flaming table or something. Like it was like, what was that weird skin flake stuff that's happening on Cody? It was like, no, it was all the protective stuff he put on his back to not get burned to shit.
Or I mean, maybe it's that they're trying to. Mandy Rose is probably going up at some point soon. I mean, Toxic Attraction's been on SmackDown a bunch lately, so maybe that's what they don't want to risk the direction they're going to go with her on. Getting hurt on a gimmick. No sense taking like a flaming bump if she doesn't have to.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, our man, another spin the wheel, make the deal match. We have Apollo Crews versus Grayson Waller. I think it's just the spin the wheel thing. I think that's right. Is that the only gimmick?
Yeah, because I
believe so.
It's one of those where the gimmick is supposed to be a surprise. So.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So the other one might have like weapons on it, possibly. To fit that theme, because the Weapons Wild one. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Who knows? Yeah. And then this one will have like a gimmick on it to some degree. So, yeah. So that could be interesting. Is this the moment where Apollo Crews actually just, I don't know, turns the tide of the never-ending like gimmick changes and losses? And I don't know what identity he has in this whole company.
He's gone back to NXT Apollo. I haven't seen Commander Aziz since he showed back up in NXT. I honestly, I think he's been stuck in the Chris Hero, Cassius Ohno role, where he's more to get somebody else over, which I assume means that he's taken another loss here. But if you believe the rumors, that there's a distinct possibility that Grayson Waller is throwing on a vulture head and showing up on SmackDown every week. So I'm not entirely sure what to expect out of this one. I don't know I don't even remember what the rest of the gimmicks on the wheel are. But they've actually done a fairly decent job with this feud. You haven't been watching NXT, so you have missed somehow this incarnation of Apollo Crews gets visions of the future. So I don't really know where they're going with it. It's a little weird, but yeah, I mean they've done a good job. I didn't necessarily like Grayson Waller at first. It was more because I watched a lot of 205 Live, and he's like 9 feet tall compared to all those guys. So it was a little weird. But then again, they had a 400-pound guy on 205 Live for a while. So that didn't make any damn sense either. So he already had I had a negative association of him. But they've done a good job. He's entertaining. He's entertaining as hell on social media because he's more annoying than the Paul brothers. But he's done a good job of getting himself over, even if he is a heel. So I'm excited for this match. Apollo Crews normally delivers, so this should be a pretty good one.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what type of gimmick they end up with. Do they gimmick this wheel? Like, do they gimmick it, or is it just stuff that they goes like, oh, we can throw this together real quick? Like if it happens to pop up.
Last year, I think they had like a Boiler Room Brawl was on there. I think ambulance match was an option. It's stuff like that, if they needed for the sake of like making a spot work or something to pre-record stuff, the gimmicks are built in so that they could do that. But the only one that stood out to me last year was the Boiler Room Brawl. The rest of them were like street fights and no DQ. They're not just gonna surprise. There's a Hell in a Cell hanging in the performance center. Like we're gonna notice. But
come back in an hour when we finish building it. Like there's a 1 hour intermission on this pay-per-view.
No, the poor crowd will get that. What Blood and Guts show like I got in Jacksonville that time, where the entire show was pre-recorded except for the Blood and Guts match. which, I mean, so basically I paid to go to Daily Center to watch TV for an hour and then see the match. So that was a little strange. Hopefully they don't do anything like that, but
yeah. I think if nothing else, if somehow the rest of the show ends up being a dud, the NXT ladder matches always seem to be a delight, and this time they can climb the stairway to hell with Nathan Frazier, Oro Mensah, Carmelo Hayes, Wesley, and Von Wagner all going for that North American championship. So I
find it extremely odd that Solo Sikoa didn't end up in the field for this thing. But yeah, there's the benefit of having Shawn Michaels helping put together ladder matches, since that's kind of where he cut the teeth with Razor. But yeah, they always deliver. It's a weird field here. I mean, there's so many guys on this roster that I feel like are more premium live event worthy. Which sounds shitty. I mean, everybody in this match they're fine. Von Wagner has the personality of like a stop sign, but Wesley is great. Carmelo Hayes is up there with Sheamus in terms of quality of match for 2022. But it's weird to have this and like there not be existing feuds here. Aside from Wesley and Carmelo Hayes, I mean, Cameron Grimes and Joe Gacy would have made sense here. There's any number of the other members of the roster that some of these spots probably would have been better suited for. Piqued my interest a little more. But
do you think that there's some people in this match that are in feuds with other people right now? Do you think? A ladder match is no DQ. I don't want to see anybody come in and grab the title that's not in the match, but do you think that like a Cameron Grimes or Gacy could interfere in a match like this?
I mean, they could. I thinking back on the last few weeks, nothing stands out.
Right.
I mean, Wesley and Oro were on a tag team this week against Schism, maybe. I don't even know. It was Carmelo and Trick. That was it.
Okay, yeah, because I die every time you say Schism, like out loud.
I hate it. I hate it so much. Everything about the Grizzled Young Veterans gimmick was so wonderful, and I hate Schism so bad. It's ruined both of those performers for me too. But not that it matters. The tag team division doesn't need anybody but Pretty Deadly. So, because those guys are amazing.
Well, now we have the Halloween Havoc main event. I had to get a little more use out of it here. We have...
It's so long.
Yeah.
It's like you hit the button and you think it's about half as long as it is, so you go ahead and start talking. That noise just keeps going forever.
Well, on top of that, there's like some kind of 2-second delay from when I hit the button to when it actually plays. So I'm like, I hit it, I'm like, okay, that's a little awkward there. We have Braun Breaker defending the championship against Dragunov and McDonough. I mean, it should be pretty hard hitting. I don't think is there actual gimmick here? I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's triple threat, so they shouldn't. I mean, it's no DQ in that case. So
yeah, it's going to be hard hitting. That's all I know.
It's gotta be Jordan Devlin. Just the way everything has built. Kevin Owens is on NXT this week, just like shit talking the hell out of Jordan Devlin, acting like Braun and Dragunov are just these wrestling gods, and Devlin just like weaseled his way in here. I thought he was going to win the belt a month ago, when they had the first go at it. It is going to be very good. Braun Breaker has come a very long way in a very short time. So that should definitely be applauded. It's after the Worlds Collide and NXT clean sweeping all the titles. I think you got to put the big one on one of the former NXT UK guys, just to hand something back to him, because Braun Breaker is going to be in a Survivor Series War Games match. I can picture him. One of the teams is going to be a guy short, and it's going to be AJ Styles is like, I went out and found somebody, and then Braun Breaker debuts. They made a point to show him at Extreme Rules. He's headed up. So that title's changing hands. And I got a feeling, Booker T, Devlin was on commentary with Booker T, and Booker T loved him. And then Kevin Owens comes in and shits on him. So there's something about that combination that says this guy is our next champion. It's probably due too, because he's one of those that just puts on a show every time he gets in. Not that Dragunov doesn't. I don't know that Dragunov has the personality to carry an NXT. He's a NXT UK all day long, because it's a completely different kind of fan base. I think Devlin is the kind of character that can hold that belt and it not be detrimental to the brand in terms of audience.
I can't believe it was today that I realized that he didn't necessarily get rid of his old name. JD could just be Jordan, Devlin, and McDonough. So I can't believe it took me this long to realize. Yeah, they were clever with that one. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I kind of thinking about it. Do you think like Hulk Hogan, Roman Reigns? Do you think it's like some degree, some kind of like a little bit of like a Marvel situation there, where like they chose that more alliterative thing, or just an accident?
It's probably accidental. I'm sure somebody that was back there picking names was watching some random ass, probably watching Peaky Blinders or something. And like, McDonough will be great. We'll just use JD instead of Jordan Devlin. It'll be perfect. Yeah. So I'm going to go out on a limb and just assume that they ripped it from Peaky Blinders, having never watched that show at all. So that's the kind of naming thing that they seem to be using of late.
I mean, the Brawling Brutes definitely feels
I don't know where.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where all the fire came from, but because that sounds like a lady that runs a sex shop or something. I don't know why they insist on doing the name changes. Just cut them in on the merch, for the love of God.
Oh yeah, this was like, I know, like why does she sound so familiar? It's because she's Kaylee Ray. I forgot. This makes more sense now. This whole show.
Yeah.
So. Well, anything else you're looking forward to coming up in the week of wrestling?
Eddie Kingston turned back up on Rampage, where he was confronted by Pac. So we're probably going to get to see that Smash Mouth affair here soon. Orange Cassidy with a title is always a great thing. We finally got an FTW defense from Hook on Rampage as well. It wasn't bad. Daivari had better, but they got to keep making Hook look like $1 million. Just a tip for Tony Khan, not that he ever pays attention. Put Hook on fucking Dynamite. I shouldn't have to watch the 10 p.m. show on Friday nights to see Hook. He can help sell your brand a lot better than opening Dynamite with your intro package that starts on Sammy Guevara's face. Because, you got me on a sour note right out of the gate. I'm looking forward to. It seems like we're finally getting a resolution to the brawl out. So hopefully we can get some of those guys back here soon. Instagram had a wonderful idea today that CM Punk should go to WWE for his chance to hold the 24/7 title, and he can feud for the next 2 years before he's released with R-Truth and Dana Brooke. It'd probably be good competition for him against Dana Brooke. R-Truth's a better wrestler than he is. So it's there's a lot of things going on. I'm really enjoying what they're doing with Bray Wyatt's new character, where Bray is just Bray. He comes out and he's genuinely he cut that long promo about being appreciative of the fans and the fans pulling him back out of a pit when he needed them. That was great. And then you've got what people seem to think is Uncle Howdy, the masked version. Appears and starts talking all cryptic and shit, like you would expect a Bray Wyatt promo to be. So that's going to be entertaining. I do want to see what they do with the living embodiments of the Funhouse characters, because they have not really been a factor since Extreme Rules. Halloween Havoc should be a good show. That ladder match will be a hell of a match, even if I don't really know much about most of the guys in it. I know that Von Wagner was on SmackDown for like 2 weeks and had like a manager and everything, and then just disappeared. The other thing I'm super excited about, he's back. L.A. Knight is on SmackDown.
Nice.
He has kicked the hell out of Maximum Male Models. It's just a fact of life. That guy should have been up the card a long damn time ago. He looks like $1 million. He's a hell of a wrestler. He cuts. There are not a lot of guys in pro wrestling that cut a better promo than he does. So yeah, I'm excited to see the continued use of L.A. Knight. And I'd really like to know what they're going to do now that they've given Ronda a belt back. She kind of went through everybody else, and then Liv Morgan got a win or two, and now Ronda has the belt again. So let's see. Maybe that's where Mandy Rose is going. They're going to have a one of those big strength matches. I'd kind of like to see Mandy Rose and Bianca square off, just because they're both so damn strong. That they'd probably do some really cool stuff. But yeah, it's there's a lot of good stuff going on in wrestling right now. The Kingdom is on AEW. I like those guys. Rumor mill today said that Vincent may be on WWE's radar. So not all of the Kingdom is on AEW, but Vincent would fit. I will say with Bray.
Yeah.
So.
Vincent would fit with Bray, and honestly, like if that was like a little surprise tonight on Halloween Havoc, even if there's no actual ink on a contract, they bring him in for like a special thing. I think, like even if it's not explained who he is, but he could just be creepy, and I think that would add to the vibe of Halloween Havoc.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I do think that Halloween Havoc is missing Dexter Lumis. He's just our resident creep. So hopefully he shows up and abducts somebody. Maybe he'll be the ambulance driver. He's been doing a lot of these weird things here lately, so that would be great. Or he just like pushes Miz out of the ambulance the first time that the door opens, so that we get at least a little glimpse of that feud ongoing. It really is. It's the internet still wants to shit on everything, but it's a good time to be a wrestling fan. Everything. Even when it's not great, everything has been consistently enjoyable, which is not something that we've been able to say for a very long time as wrestling fans. I can go back to the Attitude Era and point out several periods where there were like months at a time that were just like treading water. Stone Cold showed up and sprayed beer on people and cussed, and Mick Foley cut creepy boiler room promos, but there's always been lulls in wrestling, and right now we're in this incredibly nice, like consistent level, enjoyable thing. It probably a consistent like B plus across the board. But I would much rather have a B plus 3-month span than an A show on 1 week and then go 6 weeks with just a bunch of dumpster fire shows. So
yeah. Well, let's keep on watching wrestling. We can ring the bell, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and anything else they should do? I forget.
Yeah, hit our spooky button one more time.
Oh, yeah. All right. See you next time.
Thanks for listening.